स्मृतापि तरुणातपं करुणया हरन्तीं नृणाम् अभङ्गुरतनुत्विषां वलयिता शतैर्विद्युतां कलिन्दगिरिनन्दिनी तटसुरद्रुमालम्बिनी मदीयमतिचुम्बिनी भवतु कापि कादम्बिनी. Okay. We were looking at Vibhava Anubhava Vyabhichari Samyogat Rasa Nishpattihi. So in the Rasa Sutram, Matam, Rasa Swarupasya, he gave some 9, 11 matams or something like that. And then we finished with saying that the last 3 matam, Tadevam Paryavasiteshu Trishu Mateshu Sutra Virodha, they don't even come under the sutra because विभावेन एव उचित विभावेन एव तत्र रस निष्पत्तिः इति उक्तम्. Then the next one was उचित अनुभावेन एव अनुभावः एव रसः व्यभिचारी भावः एव रसः. So we don't need the other two iti. That was the way they had interpreted the last 3 matams. So these 3 matam do not even, they are completely in contradiction to Rasa Sutram given by Bharata. Because for Bharata, you need all 3, Vibhava, Anubhava, Vyabhichari, Samyogat, all 3 should be there. And what type of Samyoga is where each one differs. But nobody says that only one should be present. Whereas the last 3 matams say only one should be present. We don't know if such matams existed actually, but Rasagangadhara seems to mention these matams, so we will take it as these were there probably. Okay. So only 8 are correct and the last 3 are Viruddha Matam. So totally 11 matams here. विभाव अनुभाव व्यभिचारिणाम् एकस्य तु रसान्तर साधारणतया नियत रस व्यञ्जकता अनुपपत्तेः सूत्रे मिलितानाम् उपपादनम्. Why have we rejected the last 3 matam when he said that vibhavah eva rasah अथवा अनुभावः एव रसः व्यभिचारी भावः एव रसः इति? All 3 standpoints were completely rejected here by our Jagannatha Pandita. The reason he gives there is Vibhava Anubhava Vyabhicharinam Ekasya tu Rasantara Sadharanataya. When we consider one Vibhava or one Anubhava or one Vyabhichari Bhava, it is not exclusive to that particular rasa. They can move across rasas also. So with the Shakuntala, I can have Shringara, I can have Karuna Rasam also when there is Virahavastha, or when she is angry towards the Brahmara, there can be Krodham, something of that sort, or Irchya Vipralambam. There can be, she can be the Vibhava for many kinds of rasas. So Vibhava and Anubhava, the same manner. Moving your hand or showing some kind of a gesture, akshivikshepa, these can be present in other rasas also. The same for bhavas. If you look at the 33 bhavas, those which apply to this particular rasa has been clearly given by Natyashastrakara Bharata in his 7th adhyaya. So the 6th adhyaya deals with rasa, the 7th adhyaya deals with bhava. He takes up each and every bhava and talks about how it is applicable in Shringara or Hasyam. The same bhava can be applied to Karunam, Bhayanaka. So for example, Kampa or Sweda can be there. I'm talking about even Satvika Bhavas. Sweda can be there can come out of Bhayam. It can come because of Shringara. It can come because of Karunam. Anything, you don't know. Or Viram, Krodha, you can sweat because of anger. So the bhavas are common. Rasantara sadharanataya, because it is applicable. Sadharanam, it can be considered as present in another rasa also. Anya rasa pratito api upayogitvat. Niyata rasa vyanjakata anupapattehe. Anupapattehe, it is not possible to connect and say that it can give rise to only one particular nischita rasa. निश्चित रसस्य व्यंजकता एव वर्तते इति वक्तुं न शक्यते तस्मात् अनुपपत्तिः. सो ஒட்டி வராதுன்னு அர்த்தம். ஒரே ரசத்துக்கு அதை வியஞ்சகமா சொல்ல முடியாதுன்னு அர்த்தம். நியத்தேன ஏகஸ்மின் ஏவ ரசே தத்ர வியஞ்சகதாய நிரூபகः भवति इति वक्तुं न शक्यते. Okay, sutre militanam upadanam. Hence Bharata in his Natyashastra sutram, he says vibhava anubhava vyabhachari samyogat. He mentions all three together in the Rasa Sutra. So I just made a note of these in the Vyakhyanam, so we'll just go over that. Tatacha uktam kavi prakashe vyaghradayah vibhavaha bhayanakasya iva raudra adbhuta viranam api bhavitum. So he takes examples of each vibhava, anubhava and vyabhichari bhava to point out how it can be there in many rasas. Let's take a vibhava, a recipient of some rasa as vyaghra. Let's take the example of a tiger. The tiger can be the vibhava for bhayanaka. It can also be a vibhava for raudra, adbhuta or veera. The moment someone sees vyaghra, Arjuna can feel veera rasam in him. It can be a vibhava for him as a veera rasa, whereas it can be the vibhava for bhayanaka rasa for a lady or Shakuntala or someone else, who sees it and gets frightened about it, or a child who gets frightened. Whereas it was a source of adbhutam and hasyam for Shakuntala's son. In the 7th act, if you look at it, dantante ganayami iti saha akrishya the ganayati dantana. So it is a source of hasyam for us, right? So in that manner, it can be, it depends on the context there. Ashrupatadayaha, shedding tears, anubhavaha, shringarasya iva karuna bhayanakayoho. It can be the anubhava for karunam and bhayanaka also. Chinta, worrying, thinking about something. Shringarasya iva, just as how it is a vyabhichari bhava for Shringara, it can also come for Karunam, Veeram, Bhayanaka, etc. So Pritak anaikantikatvat, anaikantikam na exclusive illa. It is inclusive in other things also. So sutre militaha nirdishtaha. Uktastaleshu ekamatrasya. Idella examples in Kavya Prakasha, you find examples for how even though only vibhava is mentioned in a shloka, anubhava is not mentioned, or vyabhichari bhava is, you are not able to realize that vyabhichari bhava. Uktastaleshu ekamatrasya shringara rasasadharanasya upadane api, even though it has been said only one vibhava has been mentioned and described beautifully. Let's say, for example, Shringara. Even then, avashishta anya dvayasya tadrishasya eva jhatiti akshepena labhat vyabhichara asambhavat. So even if only vibhava is mentioned, or kevala vibhava sattvam, kevala anubhava sattvam, kevala vyabhicharinam upapadanam, even if it is like that, the other two immediately comes to our mind. We don't need to think that it is not present. If it is a proper rasasthalam, even if only one bhava is understood or just anubhava is mentioned, still the other two, which is either vibhava or vyabhichari bhava if anubhava is mentioned, or vibhava and anubhava if only vyabhichari bhava is mentioned, or anubhava and vyabhichari bhava if only vibhava is mentioned. The other two, jhatiti akshepena, it is immediately indicated by the shloka itself, and we are able to get all three there. So you cannot deny the fact that all three have to be present. Adha deny panna mudiyadhu. It has to be present, all three have to be present. So sadbhavaha chet vibhavadehe dvayoho ekasya va bhavet. Either both are mentioned or ekasya eva tatra sadbhavaha bhavati, astitvam bhavati. Jhatiti anya samakshepe, when the others are being immediately brought to the mind of the reader, sahridaya, tada doshaha na vidyate, then there is no dosha. It is not in virodhi bhava to Rasa Sutra. Evamcha pramanike militanam vyanjakatve यत्र क्वचित् एकस्मादेव असाधारणात् रस उद्बोधः तत्र इतरद्वयम् आक्षेप्यम् अतः न अनैकान्तिकत्वम्. This is what has been, whatever he has said in the Vyakhyanam is what the same thing that Rasagangadhara says in this sentence. So militanam vyanjakatve pramanike, when there is an evidence given by Bharata's Natya Shastra. Based upon Bharata's Natya Shastra, we say that Militanameva Vyanjakatvam. Only all three together can give rise to rasa. Iti pramanike sati. When this is pramana purvakam uktam sat. Yatra, wherever, yatra kavye, ekasmadeva asadharanat. There is just one extraordinary vibhava that is mentioned. And we are able to feel rasa. Tatra itaradvayam akshepyam. The other two have to be understood. Akshepana kurippidappadigiradhu artham. Namakku. It is suchakam ityartha. Ataha na anaikantikam. So there is no exclusivity with respect to vibhava, anubhava and vyabhichari bhava. There should be inclusive. All three will be present there. Either directly or akshepa rupena tatra bhavedeva. Okay. Itham cha nana jatiyabihi shemushibihi nana rupataya avasitaha abhi manishibihi paramachlada avinabhavitaya pratiyamanaha prapanchesmin rasaha ramaniyatam avahati iti nirvivadam. No matter what, there are so many people who have intelligence. Shemushi iti chet buddhihi iti. Nana jati yabihi shemushibihi. By many kinds of intelligent people. Nana rupataya avasitaha api. Even though it has been nirdharitaha avasitaha mudivaga chollapattadu nartham. Avasanam cha tatra viramaha iti. In an ultimate manner, it has been established. Nana rupataya in different ways. What rasa? We are talking about rasa here. By different intelligent people, it has been established in many different ways. Nana rupataya avasitaha api. Even though it has been established in many different ways. Manishibihi paramachlada abhinabhavitaya pratiyamanaha. But it is seen, it is shown, it is manifested for people who can understand, for Sahridayas, in a manner in which it is not without akhlada, not without ananda. Ananda sahitameva tatra pratiyamanam bhavati rasaswarupa. Okay. So it is known only with the paramachlada. Anybody, when we say rasanubhuti, we always think of it in the sense of akhlada or anandam. Right? That is something undeniable here. Prapanchesmin rasaha ramaniyatam avahati iti nirvivadam. It is without any debate that rasa obtains or rasa gets to a position of ramaniyata. It is beautiful. That cannot be denied at all. It cannot be debated. Yeah. So with this, our Rasa Sutra discussion is over. Now he moves on to rasas, the enumeration of the rasa and giving examples for each rasa. So Shringarah Karunaha Shanto Raudro Viro Adbhutas Tatha Hasyo Bhayanakaschaiva Bibhatsascheti Te Nava. Here he is very clear and he gives 9 rasas. In Natya Shastram, Ashtau Natya rasas smritaha, Shantopi Navamo rasaha iti asti. There is a big debate in Natya Shastram about whether Shanta can be considered as a 9th rasa or not. Some feel no, some feel yes. But Jagannatha Paṇḍita very clearly says Shantaha Navamaha rasaha. There is a small discussion about that. So the Shringara Hasya Karuna Veera Raudra Bhayanakaha Adbhuta Shantaha Bibhatsa Adbhuta Shantaucha Natye Nava Rasaha Spritaha. That's the different way of saying the same shlokas. Muni Vachanam cha Atra Pramanam. Muni Vachanam iti Bharata Natya Shastre Vartate. So this is Pramanam according to Natya Shastra, and he quotes in the Vyakyanam, he quotes the Natya Shastra shloka. He says Shringara Hasya Karuna Raudra Veera Bhayanakaha Bibhatsadbhuta Shantascha Kavye Navarasas Smritaha. In Kavyam there are 9 rasas. Kechittu, there are some people who come up with an akshepa saying Shantasya Shama Sadhyatvat Natecha Tad Asambhavat Ashtau eva rasaha natye na shantaha tatra yujyate ityahuhu. Generally ahuhu iti aswarasa suchitaham. அதாவது அதுல ரொம்ப ஒரு ஈடுபாடு இல்லைன்னு அர்த்தம். ஆஹுஹுங்கிற பதம் வந்தாலே that is what they all say. We are not in acceptance with whatever they are saying. iti aswarasah suchitah swarasyena nasti iti karanat. शान्तस्य शमसाध्यत्वात् शमसाध्यत्वात् इत्युक्ते शमः एव तत्र स्थायी भावतया स्थायिना साध्यः शान्तरसः. So शमसाध्यत्वं शान्ते वर्तते. So Shantarasa is something that has to be, that has to come rise, or it has to be brought about by Shama, which is the Sthayi Bhava. Nate cha tad asambhavat. Nate, in the person who is acting it out, Vastavika Sahridayata Vidhure Nate. See, Nata does not, an actor, he does not have the Sahridayatvam here, and even if he tries to imitate, he has to imitate Antarindriya Nigraham. How can he imitate Antarindriya Nigraham? It is a state that has to be achieved by people in a process. It is not something that can be imitated. So, Nate tad asambhavat. An actor cannot have Shama in him. Hence, ashtau eva natye rasaha smritaha. Shantaha tatra na yujyate. Shanta cannot be appropriate, or it cannot be added to this list of Shringara, etc. This is a Purupakshi here. Tacha apare na kshamante. Other people do not accept this. This is the samadhanam here. Apare. Apare na paraha shatruhu. Na paraha, one who is not a shatru, but our own. So, apare is enga madathla, engala cherndavana artham. Those who belong to my category, apare, na kshamante, they do not tolerate this view. Tathahi, what is the answer that he gives? He says, Nate, shama abhavaditi hetuhu asangataha. Your reasoning itself doesn't fit here. What is the reason here? Shama abhavad ityuktam. He does not have Shama, hence he cannot understand it at all. So he cannot imitate Shama, and because of which Shantarasa cannot arise at all. So tatra nate Shama bhavat iti hetuhu. The reason you give itself does not asangataha. It doesn't fit here at all. Nate rasa abhivyaktehe asvikarat. Why should the nata have sthayi bhava? Rasa is not experienced by Nata at all. The actor does not experience the Rasa. It is the Sahridaya who experiences Rasa. So the Sahridaya should have Shama, that is enough. Samajikanam, our first premise itself is, the Sahridaya has all of these in a form of Vasanatmakam in his mind. Tasya vasanayaha udbhutatvat, or sahridayasya vasana udbhavaha eva, or abhivyanjakatvam vartate. Then the rasa abhivyaktihi jayate. Adudane solro. Apo vasana rupena kutra bhavitavyaha shamaha. Natena bhavitavyaha. Samajike eva bhavitavyaha. That is enough for me. So Samajikanam Shamavattvena, because the Sahridaya or the Samajika, the audience has Shama in him. Tatra rasa udbodhe badhaka abhavat. Only rasa has to arise in the minds of the Samajika. It need not arise in Nata. It does not have to be present in him at all. Okay, this is the first argument. So Nate Shama asambhavaha, natu Samajike Nata asambhavaha. Nate tu yatah kanchit na rasam swadate nataha iti rasa aswada abhavaha. If he is there thinking about rasam and he is enjoying rasam, he will forget about acting. He has to act. That is his work. That's all. It is only Sahridaya who has to experience or enjoy the rasa. There is a tanmayatvam there and nirvyaparata that happens during rasanubhuti, and he should not do any action. Then how can it fit a nata? He will not experience rasa here. Maybe when he sees himself in the preview theater, he might enjoy. That is a different matter. Nacha natasya shama abhavat tad abhinaya prakashatva anupattihi iti vachyam. tasya bhayakrodhadehe api abhavena tad abhinaya prakashatayaha api asangatya apattehe. Point. See, nate shamaha nasti iti karanat shama abhinayam vidatum na kshamate tasmat tasmin shanta rasa pratyayaka whatever tools he doesn't have that is his premise. Yeah, adillenge natasya shama abhavat. Let's go from here. So natasya shama abhavat, because he doesn't have shama, he doesn't have the quality sthayi bhava shama, tad abhinaya prakashatva anupapattihi. So it is not possible for him to show abhinaya. This section alone is the purupakshi here. He is not capable of showing the abhinaya for shama because he doesn't have shama. This is the purupakshi. Iti nacha vachyam is your siddhanti here. And is it no, that doesn't fit properly, because tasya natasya bhaya krodhadehe api abhavena, he doesn't have bhayam, he doesn't have krodha, anger or fear when he is doing the abhinaya. Then he is not able, he cannot emote bhayam also, he cannot show prakasha also, right? So tad abhinaya prakashatayaha api asangatyapattehe, then that also won't fit. Then how are we able to experience? How can you say that bhayanaka is a rasa or raudra is a rasa? He doesn't have bhayam or krodham. Real bhayam doesn't exist when he is acting out, right? Yadicha natasya क्रोधादेहे अभावेन वास्तव तत् कार्याणां वध बन्धादीनां उत्पत्ति असंभवे अपि कृत्रिम तत् कार्याणां शिक्षाभ्यासात् इतः उत्पत्तौ अभ्यासादितः उपपत्तौ नास्ति बाधकम् इति निरीक्ष्यते तदा प्रकृते अपि तुल्यम्. Now this is a purupakshi again. Natasya until badhakam. Okay, this is again another purupakshi. No, see, krodhadehe, in the krodhastalam or bhayanakastalam, what is happening is vastava tatkaryanam. In reality, he does not go and kill a shatru. Shatru vadhaha tatra na kriyate. Shatrunam bandhaha na kriyate vastavena. He is so angry that he immediately kills. Abdina nejamave kolrana. That is not what happens there. Utpatti asambhave. That is, it is not possible for a real killing to happen on stage. But kritrima tatkaryanam shikshabhyasadi taha tasil pratyaya atra karanat iti gramataha solron liya andha madri panchami. So kritrima tatkaryanam artificial. In an artificial manner, you are trying to do all those things. Tat karyam is garjana, tarjanadi, roaring and threatening and all that. Shiksha abhyasadi balat badhaka vaiduryat. See, shiksha, he learns how to roar, he learns how to show krodham. These are all acting methodologies that he learns through a class or through learning. Shiksha is learning, abhyasa is by practice, observing others, how others act. He absorbs all those things and he has an artificial, he can create an artificial atmosphere of all these things because of the learning that he has. So, Siksha Abhyasa Aditaha, by learning and practice, Kritrima Tatkaryanam, learning and practice of artificially understanding what goes on there, Utpattau, Nasti Badhakam, then there is no issue for Krodha, Raudra Rasam or Bhayanaka Rasam to come about. This is the Purupakshi. If that is the case, then he can learn Shama also in the same manner. Adane. Iti nirikshyate, yadi nirikshyate, if you are looking at it from this kind of an angle, tada, then prakrite api tulyam, prakrite iti chet, shama, he can also learn kritrima, kritrimataya tatra vairagyam, you see how in movies like Adi Shankara or Raghavendra, there are so many movies where they are acting like a sannyasi there. They are not a sannyasi in real life. But they are actors who show those things, right? In a manner in which we also understand that, and there is a peacefulness in us when we look at such beautiful actors who are able to show that also. Right? So that is same in prakritam also. Shame, shantarase api, krodharase yatha bhavati tatha shantarase api bhavitum arhatyeva, tulyameva. अथ नाट्ये गीतवाद्यादीनां विरोधिनां सत्वात् सामाजिकेष्वपि विषयवैमुख्य आत्मनः शान्तस्य कथम उद्रेकः इति चेत्. Now this entire thing is a purupakshi again. See, for Shantarasam, music is an opposite thing. Music is an entertainment for the mind. It will attract the mind. But that is called a vyasanam. So it's kind of entertainment which pulls the mind towards outer vishayas that are there in the world. It pulls the mind towards enjoying the objects of the world, which is completely in contradiction to Shantarasa, because for Shantarasam it has to be inward looking. In a natyam, even if it is Shantarasa or Bhayanakarasa or whatever rasa it may be, you need background music there, and that background music is an obstacle to Shantarasa. So that is the idea he brings about here. Natye Geeta Vadyadinam, music and instruments, Virodhinam Sattvat, which are contradictory to Shantarasa, are present. In that case, Samajikeshu, in the minds of the audience, Vishaya Vaimukhya Atmanaha Shantasya Katham Udrekaha. How is it possible for Shanta to come about? Udrekaha. How is it possible for Shanta to come about when its Swarupam, Atma, is Vishaya Vaimukhyam, turning your face away from the objects of enjoyment. Vishaya Vaimukhyameva Swarupam Shantasya. Tarhi Tadrisha Shantasya Geeta Vadyadi Sahitasya Shantasya Katham Udrekaha Bhavati. வைமுக்கம்னு மூஞ்சியை திருப்புறதுன்னு அர்த்தம். விஷயங்கள்ல இருந்து முகத்தை திருப்பின்னு இருக்கிறது தானே சாந்தத்தினுடைய ஒரு ஸ்வரூபமே. Then how can Shanta come about when there is music present which entertains your mind and which pulls your mind, pulls your ears towards that and all that? So he answers saying, Natye Shantarasam abhyupagachat bihi phala bhalat tad geeta vadyadehe tasmin virodhitaya akalpanat. Look at the phalanumeyaha. Karyaha phalanumeyaha ityuktam. Any work, whether it is successful or not, you have to look at the result. What does the result tell me? Shantarasam abhyupagachat bihi. Those who accept Shantarasa in Natyam, they feel Deva Vishayaka Rati is there. Even though there is Vishaya Vaimukhyam, this music, say for example, Nama Sankirtanam, Bhajana Sampradaya. In Bhajana Sampradayam, there is music, there is instrument, there is song, ragam, everything is there. It pulls you, it attracts you, but it attracts you so much that Tena Smaranti Idam Martyam. Bhagavatatla varum. In Dhruva Stuti, Tena Smaranti Idam Martyam அப்படின்னு வருவார். If your mind is so involved in that, yasmin viruddhagatayaha api, even though there are many viruddhagati, but still they do not remember the vishayas so much, they do not remember the body so much, so that they are completely involved in Bhagavat Kirtanam. Tena smaranti atitaram priyam isha martyam அப்படின்னு வரும். நல்ல ஸ்லோகம் அது. Yecha anu adaha suta suhrit griha something. Okay, it's okay. So ye natye shantarasam abhyupagachat bihi. Those who accept shantarasa in natyam phala balat, because of the result that they see, tad geeta vadyadehe tasmin virodhitayaha akalpanat. Because of the good result that they are able to see, understanding that it is anukulam for shama, they understand that this Gita Vadya etc. cannot become virodhi to shama. Virodhitayaha akalpanat. It is not possible for it to become a virodhi for tasmin in shantarasa tasmin viroditayaha akalpanat that geetam vadyam முதலியவைகளுக்கு விரோதமாக இருக்கும் தன்மையை எடுத்துக்க முடியாது எதுலன்னா சாந்தரசத்துல தஸ்மின் ஓகே பலபலாத் because of what we see as a result in the minds of the samajika விஷய சிந்தா
this music and all that when you are reading shravya kavyatla where does all this music and all
that doesn't come natye eva ரசாஸ்மிருதாஹான்னு அவர் போட்டிருக்காரோ இல்லையோ சோ நாட்டியம்ங்கிறச்சே மியூசிக்கல் பிளே எடுத்துட்டுறணும்
திருஷ்ய காவியத்தை வச்சு
திருஷ்ய காவியம் திருஷ்ய காவியமா படிக்கிறது கூட இல்ல திருஷ்ய காவியம் which is staged on a இது மேடை ஸ்டேஜ் நீங்க வந்து பாகவத மேளா பாருங்க பாகவத மேளா போனேன்னா இந்த மெலட்டூர் பாகவத மேளா they sometimes during December they conduct these சில சமயம் festivals பாகவத மேளா ஃபெஸ்டிவல்னு கண்டக்ட் பண்ணுவா அதுல எப்படின்னா dialogues are very less it's fully dance and music that goes on and ஒரு பெரிய it's like a dance drama அதுதான் so natya that Bharata mentions is more to do with that dance drama you know even in when they revived the Sanskrit drama in the 80s 90s I think in the 80s and 90s they revived it they used to conduct Samskrita Ranga there was an organization called Samskrita Ranga which used to conduct dramas in the 60s 70s and all but then again they revived it in the 90s and put up a play appo naanga ponom ellathukkum they staged Shakuntalam Maalavikagnimitram Anarkalina there was a drama written by Raghavan அதுக்கப்புறம் வேற ஏதோ ஒண்ணு கூட பார்த்தேன் there were some 3-4 dramas that they had staged and அதுல வந்து என்னன்னா dialogues will be there but all of the shlokas will be sung there so அந்த மாதிரி வரும் so you need background music இருக்கும் even before they come in enter there is geetam vadyam etc there அது ஓடிட்டு இருக்கும் initially the Nandi shloka is sung in the format of ragam etc so that will be there background music undu live music not recorded music so vishaya chinta samanyasya tatra virodhitva swikare tadiya alambanasya samsara anityatvasya tad uddeepanasya purana shravana satsanga punyavana tirthavalokanadehe api विषयत्वेन विरोधित्वा आपत्तेः okay now again he उत्तरपक्षं समर्थयन् he says he dosham aropayati he says what is the fault in the purvapaksha's point the purvapaksha said that vishaya vaimukhyasya shantarasasya iti so shantarasa is characterized by not focusing on vishayas if that is the case so vishaya chinta samanyasya tatra virodhitva swikare if we take the entire samanyamna the entire gamut of all of the objects that are present in the world if we take that or thinking about the objects in the world as virodhi if we accept swikare virodhitva swikare if we take all of the objects as contradictory to shantarasa then what all go into that gamut of objects na tadiya alambanasya samsara anityatvasya because when you hold on to those vishayas this samsaram is anityam and you are holding on to something which is anitya what is the uddeepanam there the alambanam is the samsara for let's look at it this way for shantarasam you need a vibhava anubhava and vyabhichari bhava so the vibhavas are the vishaya but vishaya vaimukhyam bhavati abdingro the next one is alambana vibhava what is alambana vibhava samsara is the alambana vibhava we hold on to that samsara becomes the alambana vibhavam for us uddeepana vibhavam is actually purana shravana satsangati punyavana gamanam पुण्यतीर्थस्थलं गमनं क्षेत्राटनं इत्यादिकं तु वर्तते तीर्थ अवलोकनं these are also now part of the samsara which we say we have to turn our face away from yeah purana shravanam puranam is part of the samsara Satsangati, people are all part of the samsara. We need good sangha, satsanga to get out of this, to understand Shantarasam. Punyavanam, kshetratanam, kshetramapi tatra samsare eva vidyate, vishayanubhavaha eva. This is a little bit in the Vidandavadam bol, yeah. That's what this is. Kutarkam. In a way, Vishayangale illa. You are only talking about Bhoga Vishayaha tu tatra na bhavitavyaha ityeva. Bhoga Vishaya Vaimukhyameva tatra uktam. Not the all of the Vishayas in the entire world. The world becomes the Alambana Vibhava, then that entire world is now Virodhi for Shantarasa. तद् उद्दीपनस्य पुराणश्रवणं सत्सङ्गः पुण्यवनगमनम् और पुण्यवन अवलोकनं पुण्यवनम् इत्युक्ते क्षेत्रं तीर्थ अवलोकनं तीर्थं गर्द तटाकं गंगा नदी प्रयाग इत्यादिकं तु तीर्थं तत्र अवलोकनादेः विषयत्वेन these also become vishayas now तर्हि विरोधित्व आपत्तेः then these would also have to be termed as contradictory to Shantarasa. But that's not what is accepted. These give rise to Shantarasam. Yeah, Purana Shravanam, Satsangati, all of these increase the Shama in us. Antarindriya Nigraha. Atayevacha Charama Adhyaye Sangeeta Ratnakare. In Sangeeta Ratnakara, it has been written, Ashtau eva rasaha natyeshu iti kechit achuchudan. Chodayati irkilya. Adoda lunglakara. Achuchudan iti. Some people have instigated Madri. No? Chodayati na, you're instigating people by saying that only 8 rasas are there. So kechit natyeshu ashtau eva rasaha iti uktavantaha tad acharu. That is not beautiful. It is not correct. Yataha kanchit na rasam swadate nataha. The nata does not experience even a little bit of rasa. Even any rasa. Ityadina natye api shanto rasaha asti iti vyavasthapitam. So we have established that natya rasa is also there in, shanta rasa is also there in natyam. Yairapi natye shanto rasaha nasti iti abhyupagamyate tairapi badhaka bhavat Mahabharatadi prabandhanam shantarasa pradhanatayaha akhilaloka anubhava siddhatvat cha kavye saha avashyam svikaryaha. Okay, if you take natye ashtau rasa smritaha ityuktva kavye tu shantarasaha api vidyate. When I am reading a kavyam, you accept shantarasa. They also have to accept that, no? Because when you read Mahabharata, it leads to Shantarasam. Purana Shravanena, Itihasa Shravanena tu, Tatra Shamapradhanatvat, it does lead to Shantarasa in the minds of the readers here. So, Yaihi, by those people who Natye Shantaha Rasaha Nasti, Iti Abhyupagamyate, by the same people who have accepted that Shanta is not a rasa in Natyam. That is, those people who say that Shanta rasa is not there in Natyam, they themselves, what do? Badhaka abhavat, because there is no other obstacle to stop them from understanding Shanta rasam from Mahabharata. Mahabharata adi prabandhanam Shanta rasa pradhanatayaha. Mahabharata being a Shanta rasa pradhana kavyam, iti nirvivadam tatra swikaryam eva. They have to accept. And akhila loka anubhava siddhatvat. It is experienced by everybody in this world also. That peace comes from reading Mahabharatam. But people say, don't read Mahabharatam at home because you will end up fighting like Kauravas and that should lead to Vairagya. Kavye saha avasyam svikaryaha. Saha iti chet shanta rasaha avasyam svikaryaha. Even they should definitely accept Shanta Rasa in this manner. So, Atayeva Ashtau Natye Rasa Smritaha Ityupakramya Shantopi Navamo Rasaha Iti Mammata Bhattaha Api Upasamaharshuhu Upasamharaha Lya Upasamahara Harshit Harshuhu. So, this is also in Lung Lakara. Aharshit iti upasarga ஹ்ரு தாத்து லுங் லகார பிரதம புருஷ பகுவச்சனம் उपसमहार्षुः इति मम्मट भट्टः काव्य प्रकाशकारः so काव्य प्रकाशकार also starts off by saying अष्टौ नाट्ये रसा स्मृताः he starts by saying there are only 8 rasas इति उपक्रम्य and then he concludes उपसमहार्षुः he also concludes by saying शान्तोपि नवमो रसः shanta is also a 9th rasa okay
उपसंहार्षुःனா என்னது
उपसंहरति उपसंहारम பண்றார் concludes ன்னு அர்த்தம் he concluded in his work okay the next one is sthayi bhavas so we'll take